The words we choose to say and how we choose to say it could help someone become better at doing something or make them worse at doing everything. Hi, everyone. Welcome to 10 Minutes of Design with Chinedu Unfiltered. Here, we'll be talking about UX design, product strategy, products people use and how they make them feel, the latest technologies, and how it is used by UX designers. All this from a professional, data driven, and personal view, which is undiluted. In today's episode, we'll be talking about constructive feedbacks. How do we, as product people, give constructive feedback to our fellow product people? One of the hardest things to understand is human emotion, just because they are way too complex and challenging to decipher. You see, what people are thinking, what they are going through or have gone through, and what they plan to do are incredibly difficult to anyone to understand. That's a lot of things happening to one person, one individual, all at the same time. It makes things really difficult and challenging. Sometimes I tend to ask myself, what if we were able to read the human mind? How easy would the world be? Because knowing what a person is going through by reading their minds, you are sure about how you need to approach this person without hurting their feelings. There will definitely be a terrible side to the gift of reading minds, but let's focus on the positive side when it comes to giving feedbacks. Well, start to break it to you and every single one of us who has, in one way or the other, thought about it like this. Life isn't that way. We speak our souls and minds out, even if our intentions might be pure, but we end up hurting the people that we want to help through the words we choose at any point in time and the actions we also take. And this can either break everything we have been working really hard towards or make it better than we initially had it. So, as designers, let's talk about why feedbacks are an integral part of the design process and why it is relevant for every product person to be able to distinguish between good and bad feedback. Digital product is interesting because of its iterative process. This process requires that the product team continues to refine the product based on feedbacks gotten from the stakeholders and also the users. But how we give these feedbacks matters a lot. You see, we talk a lot about empathy as product designers or as product people, but not everyone really understands the meaning nor practices the doctrine. So, how do we give constructive and not destructive feedback to our fellow product people? It is important that we understand what feedbacks are and the difference between constructive and destructive feedbacks. What are feedbacks? According to Britannica Dictionary definition, which says, feedback is a helpful information or criticism that is given to someone to say what can be done to improve a performance or a product. By nature, feedbacks are meant to help you improve on yourself or on your product at every point you get one. We will be looking at two different types of feedbacks which are critical to product improvement and development. Number one is constructive feedback, and number two is destructive feedbacks. So, what are constructive feedbacks? Constructive feedbacks are a type of feedback that aims to help people improve their work or future. It can help achieve positive outcomes like faster processes, improved behaviors, and new perspectives. Let's take a look at the keywords from this definition. Number one is positive outcomes. Number two is faster processes. Number three is improved behavior. Number four is new perspective. This breakdown is necessary to better communicate the importance of giving constructive feedback. So let's move to the next one, or rather, before we move to the next one, let me point out the keywords again. Number one is positive outcome. Giving constructive feedback leads to positive outcomes. Number two is faster processes. Giving constructive feedbacks would see the person do the work or improve on their existing mistake. Number three is improved behavior. With constructive feedback, you see a positive behavior with the person you've given that feedback. Number four is new perspective. Giving good constructive feedbacks will see this person see the work they've done in a new light, in a very brand new perspective, where they can actually add more impact and add more input to their design flow. So let's move to the next one then. What are destructive feedbacks? Destructive feedback is a form of criticism that tears down someone's confidence and makes them feel bad about their work. It focuses on upsetting and ridiculing another team member and belittling their effort, which will decrease morale and performance over time. Let's take a look at the keywords from this definition. Number one, tears down someone's confidence. Number two, makes them feel bad about their work. Number three, upsetting and ridiculing another person. Number four, belittling their effort. Number five, decreasing morale and performance. Now let's go back to the keywords. Number one, tears down someone's confidence. With destructive feedbacks without a clear goal or a clear perspective to what the person should work on, right? You're tearing down that person's confidence. The person wouldn't find the confidence to continue working on that project. Number two, makes them feel bad about their work. No feedback should make anyone feel bad. Even if it's going to make you feel bad, it should make you feel bad in a positive light, not in a destructive manner where you don't where you feel sorry for yourself instead of feeling sorry for the process that which has led to you creating that particular error in your design. Number three is upsetting and ridiculing another person. It doesn't make any sense, right, for you to give to ridicule someone just because they've made a mistake. It's a mistake. Everyone is prone to making a mistake. By giving a destructive feedback, you are making that person feel worse about themselves. Instead of feeling bad about what they've done, they are feeling bad about themselves, which is not the good way to go. Number four is belittling their effort. Every effort matters, regardless of how bad it might be at that particular point in time, right? And the reason why I'm saying this is because effort leads to more effort, and more effort leads to you becoming better at what you're doing. Now, if you're belittling someone's effort or their input into what they've done, right, you've made them feel unknown, you've made them feel less confident about their process. Number five is decreasing morale and performance. Decreasing morale and performance, giving destructive feedback, right, eventually decreases anyone's morale or performance. Instead of me to continue working on what I've been giving feedback on, I'll feel like I've not done a lot. Then I'll sit back and assess the destructive feedback or whatever feedback you've given to me. And that is not the right way to go. You want to give a feedback that would prompt the person to, continue working on that particular project so they can meet the deadline. This breakdown is necessary to better communicate the extent a destructive feedback could have on a person and their confidence to continue. Good feedback should fuel a person with confidence to want to do more and not incapacitate them at any point in time. I can remember in 2021, I participated in an internship, which process I really enjoyed. Every bit of it resonated with me and my personality. The rush, the atmosphere, the fun and the groove made it even more interesting. It wasn't a place where you just come to work, even though you still need to prove yourself. But at the same time, there's that moment where you forget you are there to actually work. This internship was in stages, and with every stage, you are set to get to the point where you'd be able to become a finalist. And becoming a finalist means you'll be given a finalist shirt. Wild, right? Well, not really. In addition to getting a shirt, you'd have learned what would have naturally taken you 3 months to learn in 3 weeks. And then you get to join the community where you get to apply for your first full-time or contract role. We were all in stage 5 and we were given a project to work on. After completing the project, I submitted and waited for feedback from the mentors. Honestly, to my best of knowledge and understanding, I believe I did well. I made sure I went through the entire human-centered design process, did my research, created my user flow, wireframes, and then the final design. I ticked all my boxes and all this within 3 days. After a few minutes of submitting, which I believe I was the first person to submit, the mentor's first feedback was to tell me my entire interface design was trash without even understanding what the project was about. It was sad because as a mentor, you need to lead by example. When you don't understand what you are trying to grade, you ask questions and get clarity into what the person has designed. The feedback was very destructive and no one should be giving feedback in such a manner. The words we choose to say and how we choose to say it could help someone become better at doing something or make them worse at doing everything. Here are some tips to give a constructive feedback. Understand what the project is about. In understanding what the entire project is about, you have a leverage as a mentor to also improve on the existing design or propose new solutions. Prepare what you need to say. Without proper preparation, which could take between 5 to 10 minutes, words that are not required might jump out of your mouth. Be professional. Professionalism is everything when it comes to giving feedback. Instead of saying this is trash, you could say this doesn't sit well with the existing idea we have. Can we do this and that? Give actionable advice. The goal for every feedback should be centered around improvement and what can be acted upon. If it doesn't relate to it, then don't give that feedback. Be specific and focus on the issue. As a product person, you already understand what needs to be worked on. Make sure it is specific and focus on the issue that needs to be resolved. Be positive and respectful. It doesn't matter how old the person you are giving the feedback to is or what position they occupy. Always make sure that the feedback you are giving would motivate them to want to work on the project while also being respectful at the same time. We are all humans at the end of the day, regardless of our experience or expertise. Recommend next steps and follow up. It's not enough to understand, prepare and be professional. What makes feedbacks even better is not just pointing out the problems. It is when a solution or resolution follows it. What I do personally most times with my mentees when mentoring for HNG internship is to make them feel comfortable with what they have created. So I ask them questions about the decisions they have made. I want to know the reason why they made the decision and also, in a way, find out if it's not something they just picked up randomly without thoroughly thinking about how it affects their design or their product. 80% of the time using this process, the issues are mostly identified by the mentees by themselves. And the next thing I do is point out the tiny mistakes they might have overlooked. The mentees take note and then go about resolving the issues we have discussed. I have come to realize that facing feedbacks as conversations doesn't make anyone agitated, but rather relaxed enough to tell you their process. So let's recap. Number one, feedbacks are very much relevant to every product person. Feedbacks helps us create a product that defy everything. Number two, the way you give feedbacks matter a lot. It could either make or mar a person. Number three, destructive feedbacks doesn't help anyone improve. It kills the spirit of the person receiving the feedback. Number four, since feedbacks are all about improvement, let's focus our feedback on that. Number five, build an environment of trust so people can always reach out to you anytime. Number six, always be positive and respectful. I hope this has been helpful and enlightening to you. Kindly tune into my next episode. Till next time, signing out, Chinedu.